Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is, somebody that is really awesome, somebody that I've been wanting to interview for a while now. Like, we've had conversations talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. She made me late into going into the gym because we were just talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that is Soupninjaha. Soup, or what do you prefer for me to call you, Soup?
Honestly, Soup is fine. That's been my nickname, especially online forever. So for Sophie is also cool. Either one.
Okay.
Me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna call you Soup because I like soup, and I'm gonna ask you the first question because we haven't even started the interview, but I want to know, what is your favorite soup?
Oh, that's so okay. That's really hard. Because I love a lot of different kinds of soup. I love miso soup a lot. But I'll say that my favorite kind of ramen is tonkatsu ramen with tempura shrimp. That's my go-to order every time, and it's never disappointing. Always so good.
I love that. Hey, and thank you for answering the first question before we even get into the official interview. So now we're about to get into the official interview, but before that, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into the interview. So Soup, second question that I asked everybody before we get into the interview, but the first question that I ask everybody is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one, so tell everybody who you are.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. So I'm Sophie Soupninjaha. I'm an artist and designer, and I have been for as long as I can remember. I went to actually learned costuming from high school from a theater costumer, and I studied design. I still done costumes. I do them in school professionally, and I do them for fun and cosplay. My first con was in 2014. And I started seriously cosplaying in like 2015 and so on. I took a little bit of a break when I started my design degree at Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota. And then I picked it way back up because it was such a passion for me and made me so happy that I had to pick it back up. And also JoJo, getting into JoJo was a big part of that. My favorite way to express my passion for my interests, especially anime gaming, has always been cosplay. And combined with the fact that I absolutely love creative challenges like making cosplay and stuff, that's my go-to. I also always love meeting people at cons and making new friends like you, whether it's online or in person. And recently in the past year or so, I've actually been back at guesting at cons occasionally. And
Nice.
I absolutely love it because I get to hang out with all my cosplay friends and I get to meet people and help a lot of new cosplayers out, answer their questions and stuff like that. So it's been fantastic.
That's awesome. And that is definitely, that's why I always ask, every hero or villain has one. Everything that you just said is definitely on the heroes. So I really like that, man. So I want to piggyback and go back to, when you first started cosplaying and you had went to your first con. How was that experience for you? Like, because, some people, they go to their first convention and they wear their first cosplay and they're not a fan of it and they're just like, what, this isn't for me, I'm just gonna choose another hobby. But you stuck with it. So how was your first experience?
That's a fantastic question.
Thank you.
I actually my first real cosplay that I did two, but the first one I made totally on my own. I was actually Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls, and I made her sweater and I made it light up and everything. And that was really fun. But I think what really made me stick with it. First of all, I always recommend, if you can, go with a friend or meet friends at the con so that you're not alone. People around you really make the experience. And part of the con experience that I really enjoy is actually meeting people within your same fandom. I mean, going in a cosplay from something is almost like advertising, hey, I'm a big fan of this thing, come talk to me. Of course, with, nicely and everything, of course, respectfully, but you can go up to different people and meet people, and there's like these group meets for pictures and all that stuff. So I would always suggest, if you can, go with your friends. Every time that even I've gone with friends that don't cosplay, when they come with me, they're like, man, I wish I had dressed up because everybody's so happy and into it. So yeah, definitely recommend going to those fandom events if you're part of a fandom, and then going sticking with some friends or make some new friends.
Yeah, I love all of that. And, you know, I hear that all the time, when you go to your first convention, go with a group of people so that way that, you're not alone. I mean, I feel like, you can go to a convention alone because you can meet people there. Like how you were just saying about like, cosplaying from one of your favorite fandoms and then like JoJo, for example. I
Mhm.
always feel like when I do my JoJo cosplays, it's like I meet so many other JoJo fans. And even if they're not cosplaying as a JoJo character, it's just like they're huge JoJo fans. One of my favorite things is even if I'm not cosplaying as a JoJo character, or Jotaro is who I mainly cosplay as, it's like if I take pictures with JoJo cosplayers, I still do the Jotaro pose because
Yeah.
I'm like, look, just because I'm cosplaying as Ren Goku, I'm still gonna do my pose because I just love doing it, man. So I want to ask you now because you had your first experience at your first con and whatnot, and like now you've been doing cosplay and going to conventions and being a guest and whatnot. Like, how has that experience been for you? Like, did you ever think that you would be at that level in the cosplay community?
Oh man. Short answer is no, because I always just did it for fun, and I never even now when I go to conventions, it's not like I'm really grateful that I have my professional career and design career, so it's not like my main source of income or anything. It really is still just for fun. So there's no pressure for me there. It's still just like more about meeting people and just having a good time. I really do love meeting all kinds of people. I've hosted cosplay competitions, and recently I had a really, really sweet experience with a cosplayer that I had given my Judge's Choice Award to, and she seemed really inspired by by that whole moment, and it. She told me it motivated her to keep, improving and keep cosplaying, and that meant so much to me. And we still keep in touch, and she's super awesome. And she tells me how much it means to her, and having that impact and being able to continue to have an impact like that is just beyond words. So no, I never thought that I would be in a position to do something like that, but I can't say how grateful I am for that, honestly.
Yeah, and I think that it's awesome because you had even mentioned that a couple of minutes ago where you were saying that you help other people out at conventions because so many people have questions and whatnot. And I feel like because I just did a Choji cosplay and I have all these ideas spinning in my head and I'm just like, okay, this is gonna work, that's gonna work, but then when I go to do it, it doesn't work. Then I'm just like, oh man, like what am I supposed to do now? And I think that it's awesome that you have people like you where it's just like I can go to and I can ask questions so that way I can work on my craft and whatnot. Now, I do want to rewind a little bit and go back to, when you first started and you were talking about like doing stuff in theater and whatnot. Now, what are some of your favorite theater plays that you like?
Oh, okay. You know what's funny is that I do a lot of stuff that like overlaps with theater, like theater. Like I learned costuming from in a theater department, but I'm actually not super familiar with a lot of musical theater stuff.
Okay.
More so, but you're very right about the fact that my like degree in like design career and like cosplay everything ties in a lot with theater stuff. But my main kind of like focus in that like set design costuming goes a lot into theme park design.
Mm.
That's like my bread and butter. That's actually my job now, which is super cool. Is I design stuff for theme parks. So yeah, I don't know if I don't want to redirect the question, but I don't know that I know a lot. I know that there's a lot of amazing plays, but I'm not super familiar with a lot of them.
Okay, well, I'll suggest one to you because as somebody who recently got into, going to musicals, like the first one that I had saw, it was last year. It was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then after that, like I started. Well, I've only been to two. The second one I went to was Beetlejuice, but I highly recommend Beetlejuice because I went all the way to New York City just to see Beetlejuice, and now they're traveling now and they're coming here to Virginia, so when they come here in December, I'm definitely going to see it again because I love Beetlejuice. So I would check to see if Beetlejuice the musical is coming to your area, and if they are, I highly recommend it. Have you ever seen the Beetlejuice movie?
I have, and I've heard the play is amazing.
It
Like the play is
is.
amazing, and It looks like so much fun. It's honestly just, it's never been a lack of interest. It's just been a lack of time and I guess resource to go see it. But I've heard that those shows are just incredible.
Yeah, they are. And I feel you on the whole time and, just being able to go and do this stuff, especially with the world of cosplay, because it's just like there's so many cons and there's so many cosplays that you want to do in so little time. And yeah, I totally understand it. So, I want to ask you now, because you've done a lot of cosplays and, I love the JoJo ones, but I want to know, give me your top 5 favorite cosplays that you've done.
Oh my God. Okay. But besides JoJo, or can I include like?
Oh no, you can include JoJo too. But
okay.
I'm just saying, like I've seen, and what's crazy, and this is going. What do they say? What do we say when we play D&D? Breaking the fourth wall. Okay, I'm breaking the fourth wall. So when you had followed me, I didn't know that you had another page that had like all of your other cosplay stuff on there. So all I saw was JoJo. But then when I saw the other page, I was like, oh wow, like there's more than just JoJo. So yes. So yeah, what are your top 5?
Oh man, I want to say one thing about mentioning the other account was that I got locked out of that one, but it's so funny because the timing was literally like I got into JoJo and I restarted the new one. So basically, there's the archive and then the JoJo cosplay account, which is the current one. But to answer your question, top 5. Definitely from JoJo, I think my top one is Anasui because it's just, I don't know, I first of all, I love pink, so it was like all pink, and I love it. I really enjoy the character, and it gives me a lot of confidence. I love that one for that reason. Another one that's non-JoJo that I love is Bayonetta because I adore Bayonetta, and she's one of my favorite ones to cosplay. Constantly. Princess Peach was another one from the archive that was from before, and I adore Peach. I always have, and being able to cosplay her was super awesome. I'm trying to remember what other ones I've done. Actually, the one I'll say this. I love the one I'm wearing now, Uta from One Piece. She's a newer character, and I love her. And I think she's super cute. I love an evil pop star situation, so she's great. And then my number one, one of my favorites and one of the oldest ones that I've done for many, many years throughout the years was Nami from One Piece. One Piece, I know that One Piece is like, of course, notorious for being super long and like crazy. That was actually one of, if not my first anime, One Piece, which is like quite the starter. Yeah. So
well, hold on real quick. And I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, fine.
Was it the Funimation One Piece or the 4Kids One Piece?
No, Funimation.
Okay.
I watched 4Kids after to be funny. Not seriously.
Yo, but that song slaps though. Dreaming, don't give it up, Luffy. Dreaming, don't give it up, Zoro. Dreaming, don't give it up, Nami. Dreaming. Now look, for the longest time, me and my co-host Rebellious D thought that they were saying let's go, but they were saying yayo. Y'all was like yayo. Man.
My friends and I always say, because I got into it in high school with all my friends. Mm-hmm. And like we would always say they spent all the budget for that show just on the theme song, just on the pirate. It's so good. I love it. I love that.
That's crazy, man. I think we snowball. Oh yeah, you got one more.
Okay. Oh no, was it one more?
Yeah, I think it was one more. I believe it was one more.
Anasui, Bayonetta, Peach, Uta, and Nami.
Okay, all right. See, yeah. we started singing and everything. All right. But okay, so now because I really enjoyed One Piece Red and like how you were saying, like it's so long. I'm only on episode like 82 of One Piece, so I have a long ways to go. But I still went and saw One Piece Red because my friend, he asked me to come see it with him and whatnot. And I love the fact that it was a musical. I love musicals. I mean, we was talking about theater stuff in this interview, Beetlejuice, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but the music in One Piece Red was good. And I want to know, what was your favorite Yuta song that she had sung in the movie? Who's that cosplayer?
Adorkable cosplayer.
Oh, it's funny. I was just listening to them getting ready, and now I'm like thinking, which one's my favorite? Um, I think I like Fleeting Lullaby is really good. And in the movie, I actually really liked Top Musica because
Yeah,
I love everything everything coming down and like her full badassness coming out was like
yeah,
that one definitely in the movie is like my favorite one. But I know New Genesis they play it all the time. Probably that one has the most replayability, and I love that
yeah,
song. But the scene in the movie with Top Music, I was like, oh my god, it was so cool.
yeah.
So I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I mean, she was just laying it all out in that one, and I mean, I fell for her. You know what I'm saying? It's because like she got left on the island, but then I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't
Yeah.
watched it because I know that the movie it is coming out soon on digitally and on Blu-ray. So if you haven't seen One Piece Red, go and watch it when you can because it's a really good movie, and if you like musicals, then you'll love it. So you know,
Right.
we're getting close to the end of the interview, and I have a couple more questions I want to ask you. You know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We love it. Like I said at the start of this thing, me and you were talking for almost an hour about it before I went to work out. So I want to know which part is your favorite part.
Oh my God, the age-old question. I'll preface by saying that all of JoJo is amazing, and I love every part for all different reasons. I will say I think that my favorite part is part six, Stone Ocean. I know it has recent relevancy, but even reading the manga, it moved me so much that it moved me a little bit more, I think, than I mean there's a lot of moving, touching parts in JoJo, but I think that the fact that it's the bookend and the conclusion of the original series really means a lot. And I love the cast of characters. I love a good gang of friends, and I feel
Mhm.
like Stardust Crusaders, of course, is the OG, but I feel like the Stone Ocean cast is great. I love everyone in that cast a lot, so I'll go with that one. With Steel Ball Run as a close second.
Okay, all right. And you know, I hear that a lot from people. It's either part four, Stone Ocean, or Steel Ball Run. But then sometimes, you know, I will say I always love it when somebody says that Phantom Blood is their favorite because I feel like Phantom Blood is underrated. I like Phantom Blood. I like Jonathan Joestar, and I feel like that Phantom Blood doesn't get the love that it deserves because people say it's boring, even though it's not. It feels like it's a period piece, you know. But
Absolutely.
but now I want to know which JoJo is your favorite, which Joestar.
Okay, that one is a little bit easier for me just because I mean I have to say Jolene for a lot of different reasons, but I feel like she has an incredible amount of character development. Other than Johnny, I think has maybe the most character, like the biggest character arc. But Jolene, for me, not only do I, I relate to her in a lot of ways in like her character arc, but she's a fantastic, she's a super well written character. She provides so much to the story. She really is a true protagonist, and she's the one moving the story along. Yeah, and she's just fantastic. She cares a lot. She fights hard and cares and loves even harder. And that's something that I think is really awesome. I think she's written just so well, and she's super complex while still being super likable and fantastic. Also, her design is amazing.
Yeah. I love everything that you just said, and it kind of goes back to what I was just saying about Phantom Blood and Jonathan Joestar because she is very similar to Jonathan,
She
and you
is.
know what I'm saying, and especially with part one being the first one, and then part six being the final one for the universe. And something that I love is that for the intro for Phantom Blood, Jolene is the first Joestar that you see, and then when they do the final intro for Stone Ocean, Jolene is the last Joestar that you see. So, you know, I think that it's just really awesome. And David Production, they do a pretty good job at, you know, doing the references and the callbacks to earlier stories and whatnot. So now I want to ask you which villain from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is your favorite? It can be a major one like Kira, or it can be a minor one like who do I want to say? Because there's so many minor villains. I'm trying to think of somebody from part three. Let's go with Mariah.
Okay, gotcha. Ironically, that's probably the hardest question you've asked me so far. JoJo villains are fantastic. Okay, again, I will have to say, I know I don't want to sound like crazy, just part six, but honestly, I think Poochie's the best villain in the
Gucci.
series. I know Akira is I think a close second in terms of writing and development and being really interesting and mysterious, but the way that Pucci is written and the way that everything, no matter what happens, even if it's against him, he still reinforces the fact that it's all happening for him and it's
Yep.
like destiny and it's fated. I love that he's so insane, like till the end. Like he does all of this, like, and he still believes that it's all moving towards him, even when he's like almost dying. He's like, no, this is how it's supposed to be. And he even thinks the Joe stars are like putting him in his right in the path that he needs to be. So like,
Which they are.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
right. But he because of that mentality, it's so dangerous because he's unstoppable, and he
Yeah.
kind of was for
Yeah, he beat him.
Yeah,
He beat, and like that's something my co-host D, he tried watching JoJo, but he couldn't get into it. But I tell him about Pucci all the time. I'm like, yo, Pucci, he actually was the villain that defeated the heroes. I mean, he did end up being defeated in the end, but still, like he took out everybody.
yeah,
So it's like, I feel like Kira, Diavolo, and Pucci are better written villains than Dio and Cars, because Dio and Cars, they just wanted world domination.
yeah,
Kira just wanted a peaceful life. Diavolo, he wanted to get rid of his past, and Pucci, he, even though like what he was trying to do, it was good for people, but the way that he was trying to go about it was wrong.
right, right, yeah. He fully believed that he was right in what he was doing, and that's really dangerous.
Yeah,
Without
yeah, man.
considering other people. So he was super strong and also scary because everybody just trusted him. Even Jolene at the
Yeah,
beginning, she never thought he was Whitesnake, or she was always like, oh no, like you're a priest. Like everyone, even when he was in Orlando going through all this stuff, and he was literally on a mission. He was killing people left and right, and they were still like, oh, but you're a priest. Like you're not gonna do this.
yeah.
Like the bad guy.
It's crazy that you say that, because I never even thought about it. But you know how, like, in if you watch like a medieval movie or something like that, it's just like from the outside, it's like the church is a peaceful place to come to, and if you're hurt, come to the church, will take care of you. But then like they show that like the people inside the church are the monsters, like they're the evil. I mean, like you see it in Castlevania, and I think it was Dante's Inferno. Like you see that like the priests were sending people out to do stuff, but it's just like it was for all the wrong reasons. So like Pucci is just like those priests from those stories, where it's just like everybody trusted him. Like it's just like, oh Father, how can I help you? But in reality, he was the villain, and he had the perfect cover, because nobody would ever expect that it's the priest that's the one doing, like, pulling all the strings and whatnot.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so good. Yeah, he's super complex and super interesting. And I you hate him, but you love him as a villain.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I agree. And like even like his voice actor in the, I still have to watch it subbed, but in the dub, like when he was talking to Emporio and just saying like, let me do what I need to do, like the voice actor did a phenomenal job as Poochie. He
I
killed
know
it.
that scene. I know that scene. I remember watching it the first time and I was like, oh my God. Like you can hear his like mind like unraveling because he's losing his mind because he's actually losing for the first time.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
did such a good job. And actually, there's a really good video that his voice actor did, and he's not only super passionate about the project, you can hear it, but he talked about that scene especially, and it's just incredible. It's so
yeah,
good. I think
yeah.
the dub also for Stone Ocean Part 6 is I think it's the best dubbed part by far. I think each part gets a little bit better in some regard, and Part 6 dub I think is fantastic.
I agree with you. And before we move to the final question, everybody that's watching this interview, we did interview Kira Buckland, who voices Jolene in Stone Ocean, and she also voices Raimi in Diamond is Unbreakable. You can check that interview out on the podcast, or you can check it out on YouTube. And we interviewed her before it was announced that she was on Stone Ocean. And I'll always remember that I asked her, I was just like, if you could voice Jolene, like what would it mean to you if you got that character. Now, of course, because of NDAs and all that stuff, you know, she said what she said, but she was already voicing the character, which is cool. But, you know, one of the reasons why she got into voice acting, because she loved JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Jolene was a character she always wanted to voice because she did read the manga. So everything came full circle. So final question for you before we wrap this thing up. If you could have your own stand, one that hasn't been in the series, what would the stand's name be, and what would the stand's ability be? And I see that we just had a special guest appearance from your cat in the background. So give your cat a shout out before you answer that question.
Oh, she's I'll grab her. She's a little dog. She's a
Oh, it's a dog. I thought it was a cat.
No, listen. She's really small. Like, she's really small, so I don't blame you.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Hi, doggy.
Her name is Charlotte Doyle, named after a pirate, ironically.
I love it.
Okay, so Stan. Oh, that's so difficult. Okay, so I've thought about this a little bit at different points. One of my favorite bands is Muse. So I'll name my Stan Muse.
Okay.
The band, naturally JoJo. As for abilities, I don't know. I would assume it had something to do with, Muse, also like an artistic muse or design muse, because I love doing art and design. Maybe it has something to do with that. I would want it to be like a battle stand though. So I'm like, oh, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, you telling me about your stand and this ability, it feels like it's more of a defense, like supporting stand, kind of like Heaven's Door. Is it Heaven's Door? Is that Rohan's stand?
Yeah, that's Rohan's stand.
Okay,
yeah.
Heaven's Door. Like, it's something like that where it's just like you can draw something and it'll, you know, help out the other, you know, stand user on the field or something like that. Like, if somebody needs a shield, you draw a shield. Now the stand has a shield.
That's awesome. That's almost like the guy, or it's kind of like a weird version of like Bohemian Rhapsody, or like the one that Weather uses, Mr. Putback or whatever. Like something where it brings like designs to life. I love that. Totally. That's kind of I kind of like to think that's what I do almost for work.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're helping people. Like, you're designing stuff. You're taking your pen. And I'm taking this chip and I'm eating it. Like,
exactly.
Like Kira said. Oh man.
Yeah, so that sounds good. Was there anything else? Stand name, ability, and
yeah, that was it.
That was it? Okay.
Yeah, and now we're here at the end of the interview. So thank you so much for joining me. Like, this was a fun interview, and I hope everybody that's watching it, I hope that, you know, you learned something more about your favorite cosplayer, and you'll keep on supporting her. So with that being said, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
All right. So all of my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, it's all the same, Soupninjaha. It might be Soupninjaha with an underscore underneath. But for the most part, that's all of my social media information if you want to find me. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Y'all make sure that y'all follow her on all of her social media accounts. And you already know where you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. That being said, keep that pinky up. Stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.